3. At a time when great intellectual changes shook people to the core and new technical inventions changed their world to the extreme, a rich man named Sir Insta lived in a city as there were many others. His wealth was of legendary proportions, but could not be quantified in money, but consisted of a multitude of memories. In his long life, he had wandered through all the forests, had climbed all the mountains, and sailed all the seas, and had taken at least a short rest in every other city there was. It was said that he even traveled to the edge of the world with the mythical figures of the Greeks, sat down there and laughed together with them. When the night grew old, he also became restless. The thought of his imminent death did not let go of him. The more he remembered all his travels, the greater the loss that his death would bring to the world seemed to him. Everything he had seen in his life and the memories of it would vanish with him, irretrievably. Nothing of him would remain in the world. So he called in a painter who was known far and wide for his ability to paint rooms and figures in such a way that they could no longer be distinguished from the real world. The knight did not know how this new way of painting worked. It had to be magic, but he intended to outlast time as a figure in these rooms. Paint me for eternity, together with all my memories, so that all people after me can see who I was and what I saw. The painter replied, I can even paint you so that you will live forever, but my reward shall be to set out on this journey with you. The knight granted him this demand. Of course, the fear of death had made him tremble, and the prospect of eternal life reassured him. And so the painter set to work. He placed the knight and his memories behind a pane of glass and began to paint. He painted the virtus to depict the knight's bravery, a king to whom the knight was loyal all his life, a woman with mitre, with whom the knight had fallen in love one day, the Gloria with scepter and a globe, the immortals as a guarantee for the magic of eternal life, the arrival of Ulysses at the sorceress Kirky and the tree of Lotophagi, from which Ulysses' companions and also the knight had eaten. Then he set about painting the knight, and then himself. When he finished his self-portrait with the last brush stroke, which, mind you, depicted the brush itself, the world around the painting dissolved. The Sir Insta and the painter, together with all their memories, went quietly into the painting. A few centuries later, but it could have been just a moment later, the fortune of the knight and his colorful entourage, who had been traveling to eternity, was suddenly interrupted. The people who lived at that time, in which intellectual tabula rasa was sought and technological progress was rampant, who in other words believed they could overcome history, decided to preserve the past forever. Above all, another painter who had learned his craft, but no longer believed in magic. Already from a distance he saw the vehicle of memories of the night coming, like a house. These paintings should be detached and preserved forever, he exclaimed. He immediately set about detaching the paintings piece by piece and and locked them in a dark room with little light, where he wanted to free them from the dust of time and make them shine again, piece by piece. When the knight and his entourage felt that they were being detached from the house, they tried to resist, but with every moment more of the magic crumbled away. Once locked up, they were separated from each other, each in his own fragment, and any common action was unthinkable. They had no choice but to wait and see what the painter intended to do with them. After the latter had detached all the paintings from the house, voices were raised complaining about the now bare house, demanding that it regain its old splendor without knowing what the house was really about. The painter felt compelled to reconstruct all the paintings on the house true to detail, and bent over the copy in the making. He forgot with time even about the detached originals, which he had actually wanted to make shine again. The souls of the knight and his entourage were thus split in two. An unimaginable pain was felt in them, but their cries were suffocated in the dullness of their material support. Since that time was also a time of terrible wars. One day, bombs fell from the sky, destroying the original fragments completely. The divided souls were left with only the complete escape into the copy. The only fragment that was not destroyed was that of the old painter himself, but he too no longer inhabited it. All magic had passed over to the copy. For a few decades, or even just for a moment, the knight and his entourage outlasted time in this way. But a journey into eternity was no longer imaginable. The copy was not magical enough for that. But here our story takes an abrupt turn, a fantastic in scale as nobody would have dared to predict. If the knight had been a lonely wanderer in his time, a climber and sailor on his own and in every city often the only stranger, now more and more people are on the move. It seems as if all people are wanderers, climbers and sailors, and not one city is spared from people who are on the move. These people carry pocket glasses around with them, which they stare at constantly and which they sometimes hold to their ears. I wonder if eternity is whispering to them, wonders the knight. Whenever they pass his house, they take out their pocket glasses and hold them between themselves and the house, sometimes also in front of themselves and the house. Each person is now a painter. They all practice magic now. Whenever they perform magic with their pocket glasses and share it with each other, the knight and his entourage suffer a further division of their souls. They are copied millions of times, but gradually the pain subsides. Gradually this world also dissolves, and this time the whole, and they find themselves in a space without a place, water-like, in which all places are contained, which surrounded them on their journey so far, and others, like new land. Between signs and words they squat there, without being able to penetrate into the deepest magic of this new world, and listen to messages from the depths, short and long, in all languages. They sway in the hope of remaining findable and look out for hashtags. Reunite again. They hang on the hashtags and swim rich in memories. not only their own, into eternity and are, as it were, lost forever.